By the way, that's my new favorite sensor sound is.
Really?
You know what I'm talking about? Have you ever seen when people are like, because YouTube now like demonetizes you if you curse too much. So all these like famous people, instead of going like, it's like a.
Oh, I think I know.
My new favorite way. All right, let me get my last ice cube.
Yeah, go for it.
The problems of having, whatever disease I have, I have to eat ice. Oh, okay. Woo! All right, that's it. Hey everyone, I'm a big dude.
I'm also a big dude.
And together we are
two big dudes. Let's go.
Let's go. Doing pelvic thrust motions right now. Dude, it's been a while.
It's been a hot minute, man. Like, what's it been, like 3 weeks?
I thought it's been a month.
No, see, that's the thing. I've noticed that when things are... Stupid computer. Cut that in post.
Nah, don't cut it in post.
I'm not cutting it in
dude,
post.
Don't cut it in
Don't cut it. What was I even saying? Okay, yeah, about like, yeah, dude, the funniest thing is when I go back and try to discern how long it's been, like, so just like this. When was our last episode and whatever?
Was it really not over a month ago?
Dude, I bet it hasn't been more than maybe 3.5 weeks.
I'm like looking it up right now.
While you do that, I'll continue my little spiel. There are some times where I think, wow, that was so long ago, and it was literally maybe just over 2 weeks ago.
I see what you mean. It's like YouTube says 1 month ago, but like it could be 1 month and 28 days, but YouTube will always say 1 month.
No, we don't go by YouTube. And do you know why we don't go by YouTube? Dude, I check some of the videos that you and I watched literally, I don't know, 2008, 2009, and it's like, oh, this was uploaded 10 years ago. I'm like, no, it wasn't. It was definitely more than 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, I think they round it to the nearest 5-digit number. Something
like that. I don't even know, man. But yeah, it's been a hot minute. It's been a
while, dude. So what's new with you? Anything new with you?
Dude, nothing particularly new with me. I finally finished recording a rough draft of a song I've been writing
for serious?
Nearly 10 years. When I say rough draft, it's still in its most beginning stages. I wrote all the guitar for it. The lyrics are done.
You actually have the lyrics?
Yes, sir.
What's it about? I don't care. All right, so I'm just kidding. No, tell me.
Long story short, the name of the song is called The Romanticizer. That's not a word, but to romanticize is a word. It's to imagine things better than what they really are.
Dude, that sounds sick.
Yeah, dude. It tells the story of someone that is taking a situation or an expectation of someone or something and blowing it up much bigger than what it really is, but still sticking with that delusion and just carrying on. Yeah, it's a cool song.
Does it go like, you left me roses by the stairs, surprises that she knows she cares. Just imagine your twist on it.
Are we gonna get, is YouTube gonna pick that up and like blank us out?
We literally have 20 viewers. If we do, we're legends already. So like, what's the genre of the song?
Well, I would just call it melodic metal. It's fast. Everything about it is, well, it's 180 beats per minute. Well, I would call it fast. I did get a really, really nice compliment from... Yeah, from...
You have to do that. You have to edit it out.
I will. Actually cut that in post.
Okay.
But I sent it to...
Yeah. I got you.
For drums. Because, I've worked with him for a long time, and we've always had this. Idea. And even though, I live here, everything can be done digitally.
Right.
So he checked out the scratch track that I sent him, which is literally bare bones. It's the guitar recording and just a scratch vocal track.
Every time you see scratch track, I'm just be like, hey guys, this is scratching the record, dude.
If only. But no, you bring up a good point. Scratch track is basically just, you record it just to kind of have it there as a placeholder, and it's completely meant to be done away with.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent that to him, and it's just the guitar, just the vocals, no strings, no keys.
So is he gonna do the drums?
Yeah, definitely gonna.
That's
Dude,
sick.
I mean, he and I have been jamming together, playing together for like he knows what I want. He gave me the biggest compliment. He told me he's like, I listen to this and I get Camelot Black Halo vibes.
That's pretty cool.
And for anyone that knows, like that is my favorite album from Camelot. Like there's no better album that they have ever put out. I know your wife thinks a little differently.
Wait, why? You're saying my wife doesn't like it? Why? I'm confused.
No. She would disagree with me because my favorite album is the Black Halo, but hers, if I'm not mistaken, is the Fourth Legacy.
Oh,
I
see
think
what you
Black
mean.
Halo's like maybe her second or something.
Is that their newest one?
No, Black Halo
Oh,
goes back
really?
to 05.
I thought your favorite one is their newest album.
No. It was my favorite of this latest era with their newest singer, Tommy.
Oh.
Yeah. But like everything that Roy's done is always like on top. And
I
that
gotcha.
Black Halo will never be topped by this band.
Wow.
So to get that compliment, it was really cool, man, because
Pretty sick.
the influence was there. I wasn't sitting down, how do I write a Camelot sounding song? No, it's just naturally came there. So it's like that was a really cool compliment. So still working on it. A certain dude who may or may not be listening, I am conscripting him to try to write a guitar solo. I'm gonna send him the
He
scratch
can do
track.
guitar too, or I thought he just does drums.
No. You're thinking of another dude. Yeah, the dude I'm thinking about says bro a lot.
Oh, you're really trying to get him to do
I'm
it?
trying to. He's down to do it, and he's telling me, dude, I don't know that I can write what you're looking for. I'm just like, dude, I've seen you freestyle. I just want to let me know what you can come up with. You know?
So speaking of that dude, he still hasn't shown me, but he's only sung me like a lyric. He has genuinely done an impact rap. Fully recorded and everything, dude. And I still have yet to hear it.
What?
Yeah, he made a rap of my card game, and it sounds like from his one line, it sounded super epic. And someone has heard it, but not me yet. So I'm like dying to get it back.
Dang.
Yeah, it's pretty hype.
Okay, well, you know who. You're gonna. They'll get it. They don't need an explanation. You got it. You're being put on the spot. We do need to hear this rap.
Dude, I want to hear it because I want to post it in the channel in the feed and
Oh,
become like
heck yeah.
tens of millions of views.
Does he have any beats? I could try to make a beat for it.
Like
I've been listening to a lot of Eminem
He has a beat and he has a freestyle moment. And I've yet to hear it. He's like, I have to edit it for you, bro. I got to get it all worked out for you. And I was like, just show me. I want to hear so badly. And he's like, it's the cringiest thing I've ever made. I want to hear it so badly.
That's why you haven't heard it.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Yeah.
But so it's just so funny. So my story that I was going to say is like superintendent with yours because you were just being complimented for your, creation that you made with your song.
Mm-hmm.
So this card game I made, Impact.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
You never heard of it?
Yeah, like, is that what you're wearing on your hat right now?
Dude, it's wearing my hat right now. For all you podcast listeners, look closely. You can see it. But I was wearing this hat that night. But Black Friday just passed. And we go to my favorite store in where we live, Bearded Brown Coat Gaming and Comic.
Mm-hmm.
And we went there for the midnight release of just Black Friday. So the reason we go there is the first like 120 people get a goodie bag and you get like comics, a card game, et cetera, et cetera. But the last 2 years we've gone, we've always showed up like at 11 and we're always like last in line. We still get a goodie bag, but it's always like the last one. And usually the first couple people get like a raffle ticket where you get an item. Mm-hmm. So this time, me and 3 of our friends, we were like, let's go there at 8 o'clock. We're like, bring a table, bring chairs, and just play Impact the whole time while we're waiting and pass the time. So that's what we did. We showed up at like 8:15. We were like the 10th person in line. We set a table up, set the chairs up. And as we're setting up, like I have this table I bought that's only maybe 3 feet by 4 feet. So it's a small table, enough for 4 people to play a card game comfortably. Mm-hmm. And a guy next to us was like, hey, you guys playing Magic? And it's like, no, we're not playing. He's like, oh, you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! No. And he looks at me like, Pokemon? No. And then he names like 2 other card games I never heard of. And I was like, no, I'm not playing any of that. He's like, what are you playing? And it's like, oh, I'm playing a card game I made called Impact. And like, to give the listeners context, my card game is on cards, but they're just like black and white sprite images with basic text on it, right? Nothing like, if you like a card that everyone knows like a Pokemon card has like beautiful artwork and like titles and screens and everything. This one is just a basic like sprite image of a guy like a Mario like punching a 1-up thing. Gotcha. And then like the words, right? Uh-huh. So he looks at it and he's like, whoa, this is super cool. You made this? I'm like, yeah. He's like, can I play? I was like,
Yo.
yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, this was my first time ever getting a random person that has no like ties with me, no ties with my friend, no ties with this game. So a complete stranger. And I was like, well, like if my card game's gonna make it, I had to see how it goes in the wild. So it's my only, experience with it. So he sits down, we're playing a 2v2 mode, and we played for over 2.5 hours. And the guy is like every time he finishes his turn, he's constantly going, "This is so much fun." And he's looking at every card, and he's constantly talking about how he's like, "This feels so different, something I've never played before." And he's constantly just talking about this game. And I was like, "This is the coolest moment of my life." Like this random guy is playing this for over 2 hours, and he just wants to keep playing. And if it wasn't for the manager of the business coming out and he's like, "Hey everyone, we need to pack up your chairs and tables because we're gonna have a long line. We need to be condensed as possible." Like he would have played another game, and he was all for it. So the moment he finished this, he was like, "How can I learn more about this?" So I told him about the tabletop simulator we have online, so you can play it there. And then I told him about our podcast where I was like, I talk about it here and there, and he subscribed. And that guy, Tyler, I hope you're listening because like this is a shout out to you. That was the coolest night of my life. So that was like the coolest part of like the last 3 weeks that we've been on hiatus. So that was my moment right there.
Bro, that's quite a moment, man.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. So that was how you guys spent the Black Friday.
So we did that, and then I went into Bearded, and we got I had board games that I wanted to buy. For anyone who doesn't listen, like I collect board games. So there was 3 board games I really wanted. I found I actually have a story for this one. So there's 3 board games. I wanted Dune Imperium, I wanted Radlands, and I wanted a game called Mindbug. So I assumed that this game called Mindbug would not be there. It's like a really small card game that I don't think has hit the retail market too well yet, but it looks really good. So I wanted to get that. It wasn't there. And so the other game I really wanted was Radlands. It's a 2-player card game. It's like a steampunk era, and you're kind of just like, you set up 3 bases, you try to take each other's bases down, quick game. And that sounded really fun. So I wanted that. So in my head, I'm like, I've seen Dune Imperium, and to give you context as well, Dune Imperium is like a huge game right now. I think it's number like 17 on the best board games of the world right now.
Wow.
And it's blowing up like crazy. And I always see like 5 or 7 copies at this place. So I was like, I'll look for that later. There's no way they sell out. So I'm looking for Mindbug. I don't find it. I go to the R section. I'm looking for Radlands, and I'm looking. And this, if Bearded ever listens to this podcast, first off, you guys are the most organized, clean, best comic book store in the world, and you guys keep everything alphabetical. So I was like looking at the R's, and just to play it safe, I was like, you know what? I'll look at every shelf just in case they move this Radlands to like letter, F or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I look all over and I don't see it. So I was like, 2 of the games I really wanted aren't there. I'll just get Dune Imperium at least. And as I say that in my head, there's a guy holding Dune Imperium in his arm. And I was like, oh man, he has the same idea I have. I better go get my own copy. And I look in the Dune Imperium, and as like Dune is showing up, like Dune, the letter I for Imperium is coming up, and it's all empty. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So I'm stressed out. And I was so close to ask this guy, like, do you really want that copy? Because I need to come out with a board game.
Dude.
Like, I need to walk out with one.
You know what, real quick? You remember that gif of Vegeta entering the hyperbolic time
chamber?
Yeah, that's him leaving the store. You're just like, that was the last copy.
It's the smile.
Okay,
I'm telling you, like, I was so ready to snatch it out of this guy's hand because I was like, I need to walk out with the board game. He was having a 25% off, like, all board games.
Oh,
and I was like, I want to get this. So thankfully, I remember that he stores like extra like big games up on the upper shelves, and I saw like 2 copies. I was able to get it.
Oh,
and then I got like 2 other board games that I was happy about, and so we called it from there.
Nice.
But that was awesome. And then what's crazy that night was, if you don't know anything about Magic the Gathering, cards are super expensive for like very popular cards. What? You're laughing right now.
Yeah. No.
Well, whatever the case is.
I can't make the joke.
Okay, whatever the case is, the owner of the store was like, anyone who wants to buy singles needs to go in the back. And to give you context for our listeners, singles are like single cards. So if you're looking for a specific...
they're all single.
Yeah, they really are. I'm telling you they are. My story's getting there.
I'm a single too, don't worry.
if you want this specific card that's like very rare to pull, you got to pay a high price for it. Right?
Oh, sure, yeah.
So they have a line in the back where you can look at their binders, which have like all their super rares, ultra rare cards that you can just buy a single copy. And some of these prices are crazy. So I wanted to buy these 3 board games I got, and the line was so long that the gentleman was like, "Oh, go in the back of the store. We have another cash register there." And so
Oh.
for me to go back there, I need to pass by everyone in line buying singles. And I think I know a couple prices, but I wasn't expecting what I saw. So I'm waiting behind this one guy in line, and this guy pulls out this wad of cash. You need to
No.
imagine him holding like a U fold of cash that is almost 4 to 5 inches thick. He has six single cardboard cards, okay, laid on the
Okay.
table, and he puts out, he has it's all 20s, and he's like 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, put a stack. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, put a stack. And he did it 16 times. He paid $1,600 in cash for 6 pieces of cardboard. So it was so much money that like the guy who's selling it had to call the boss, and the boss's brother's a police officer. He had to escort him to his car because these cards, I guess, are like super rare. This man was prepared to drop $1,600 for 6 playing cards. I need you to imagine, like, if you're a husband or a wife. Like, I kept talking to my wife, and I was like, "Hey, what would you do if you saw our bank account go $1,600 less, and I came back going, hey, I got these 6 cards?" She'd be like, "I'd divorce you."
She just like preemptively, while you're saying what would you do, she just kind of like pulls the divorce papers out of his sleeve. She's like, I'm ready, just in case. No,
He's like, "Oh, those are singles? That's
not a
what
big
you are."
16
Yeah, can you imagine?
cards. Wow. I mean, if you're that dedicated to your craft,
I mean,
I would never do that.
it doesn't make sense to me. Like, he had to do it for collecting purposes because you have to
Well, that's true.
imagine.
Maybe he's thinking about reselling them at a higher price.
It could be because
Yeah.
if for playing wise, it doesn't make any sense because to give you more context, when you're playing any card game, a deck is normally 50 or 60 cards. So if $1,600 were worth 6 cards, the chances of you pulling those 6 cards out in a game are less than 10%. So it's like there's no way he bought it for playing because he
Yeah,
literally spent $1,600
okay.
to see this card once every 10 games,
Hmm.
which is like ridiculous.
Yeah, sure thing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my
Wow.
crazy story of the 3 weeks hiatus.
That's cool, man. And one final question about your Impact soft launch. Did Tyler have any like constructive criticism
So
for
I
you,
asked
or?
him. I think he was on too much of a high because like I wanted him to tell me issues of the game, right? Because I
Uh-huh.
want to make it better. But he is the first person who's ever played the game and has like just grokked it instantly.
Hmm.
And when I asked him, I was like, "All right, so after your first play, like, what complaints do you have?" And he told me like none. And I was like, I wanted to hear more because I know no card game is perfect. But I
Yeah.
think he was just like on a high, having a good time. Because we were having a great time. Like the time flew for these 4 hours. 2.5 of it was just us setting up and playing the game. And whenever I teach anyone this game, excuse me, I'm burping. It normally takes about 10, 15 minutes for like a real teach. I remember when I taught you the game. How long was the teach? Was it like 15 minutes?
Well, you know how I am when it comes to like learning board
Right.
games, so it was.
But you picked it up pretty quick.
Yeah.
But it wasn't crazy long, but it's like
That's true.
15 minutes. And 15 minutes, like, if you really think about it, 15 minutes is a long time.
You know what's crazy? That was just a couple, like, not a couple months ago,
I
but
think
that
it
was
was like,
earlier this year.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
It
played
seems
it.
like it was longer ago, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. Time has like really worked in different
Yeah, if
ways.
it's not last week, it was a long time ago.
Yeah. But so I teach him this game, and normally I'm thinking it's gonna take me 20 minutes or so, but I was like, you know what? He's played card games before. I'm gonna see if he can pick this game up. Like I
Yeah.
tested him. I was like, I'm gonna see if he can pick this game up if I give him a super quick tutorial. I
Uh-huh.
gave him like a 3-minute tutorial, and this man picked everything.
Oh, yeah.
It was so cool.
Well, dude, for what it's worth, like you had to take the extra time with me, and you've tried to teach me.
A lot, yeah, I have.
No, you've tried to teach me different games before, and it just like the difference with your game is it stuck. And just like for context, learning board games, card games, whatever, it's just not my forte.
Right.
Like I don't use that side of the brain when thinking normally. But yeah, your card game, once you explained it, and it was it wasn't hard for me to understand, you know? Like it was just a lot of concepts to put together that once they start clicking, which they didn't really for me because I only played that one game so far.
Right.
But like when I see you play and the other dudes play and the other lady dudes play, you know, you guys are like weaving combos together like you
Yeah.
would in Smash. You know, one thing is just hitting side B, the next is like
A ton of other
linking
things.
combos together. Yeah, when I see that, it's just like, "Ew," you know?
It was a lot of fun. That was definitely the highlight of the month. And if he's listening to this podcast, dude, you're like such a homie. You're that guy. You're that guy.
Nice.
Dude, speaking of good guys, isn't this a topic of our conversation? Good friends?
Yeah.
Friends in
Well,
general?
you know, it's funny because the topic here is about friends and making new friends and what happens with old friends and stuff like that. Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up because they relate. What I had in mind, I've been thinking about friends a lot lately. Let me
Really?
translate for the weebs out there. The nakama. You know?
The nakama.
The nakama.
Nakama. You know, I would say that there are one dude who's been watching One Piece would get that reference, but he's watching it dubbed, and he doesn't understand the Japanese reference of nakama. You know what I'm saying?
What's wrong with watching it dubbed?
I know you've been watching it dubbed too. I know you're watching One Piece dubbed. It's honestly, it's okay because I think the dub is good, but
No, of course, it's the source language.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I know 1,000%.
I'm not trying to judge, but I'm judging.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's you know, I don't have a horse in that race, as they say. I watch it dubbed because I watch it while I work, and I burn through.
I totally get that. I
3
totally
episodes an
get
hour.
that. I totally get that. I totally get that.
So it's cool, and it's actually like helping me to. It's interesting because watching like dubbed animes in English in the past, I feel like Funimation, I think they're the ones that do it. Funimation is dubbing. They're dubbing these episodes in a kind of a more modern vernacular. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like before it was just they would just try to get it as close to the original as possible. This time around, I don't know, it's just it seems like it's a little bit more like relatable, I don't know, in a way.
I get you.
Yeah. But I get you when it comes to the, the source language. Obviously, you get the full range of emotion. English doesn't come close. Like,
it's still good though.
It's still very good.
I'll give it to you, man. It's a good dub.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, going back, so what I wanted to talk about is we've kind of discussed interpersonal relationships before, in our last it was 2 episodes ago.
I think so.
Yeah, it was 2 episodes ago. So the first thing that I guess I'm gonna kind of go out of order here, but let me ask you. This is not a DQ thing.
That's why I'm like, go ahead.
This is just So when you, at this stage in your life, when you are looking for friends, are you primarily concerned with substance, like depth of character, or variety?
So you need to give me more context of like depth of character and variety.
Sure. Okay. So when I say depth of character, I mean somebody or people that you can kind of connect with more than just a superficial level.
Okay.
So
that's depth of character?
I would say depth of character.
Okay.
Because nobody was going to be friends with superficial people. But you know that you have different friends that you can dig deeper with.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what I mean by substance or depth of character.
Okay.
And then variety can vary to either a lot of friends or you just like having a lot of friends with differing personalities and characters, that you're kind of just okay with having that variety versus a deep connection with all of your friends.
I'm totally on the side of like depth of character because I've noticed that like I've had a lot of friends growing up, and the ones that have either stuck out are when we have similar interests and that we really keep in touch with each other. But like the new friends I've made, the ones who are like really deep, are the ones who, and if it sounds like selfish of me, I'm sorry, but it's the ones who like resonate with me, right? They have similar interests as me. When they talk about a subject, it's something I genuinely find interesting. And so when I talk about like a subject I want to talk about, they find it interesting. So I lean toward that type of friend. I'm not saying I don't branch out to variety, because when I make a friend who's not in my realm of like, you and I like different things, we still get along. It's just, I notice that when he or she starts talking about something they like that I have no interest in, I start to zone out. Like, I feel bad. They'll be talking about something, and I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, I'd rather be anywhere else. Yeah. But I'm here to, like, show my respect as a friend. Sure. And listen to you. Yeah. But, like, in the long run, if I had a decision, like, hey, you want to have a conversation with this person who, for instance, likes board games, or this guy who wants to talk about, a movie, I'd pick the side that I have a similar interest with, the board game side. So I think about that. Yeah.
That's not really selfish though. Like,
no,
it really isn't. Like, don't feel bad about that.
Okay.
Yeah. No, because we all look for people that we have, commonalities with.
Right. Like, here's a good example. For instance, you and I are great friends, but one thing that you and I completely differ on interest is music.
Yeah.
For sure.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah. So like, you could talk about music, and I'm gonna hear every word of yours, but it just doesn't hit me as hard as if you told the person who's doing the drums for you. Like, he's gonna hear your words and like understand you more than I ever could, right? And he's gonna give you the perfect questions to answer or to keep the conversation going in a way that you want it to go. Or I'm gonna look at you and be like, "Oh, that's awesome. Do you want to do something else now?" So yeah, that's a good example, I'd say.
You know what, man? It's funny you bring that up because like the context of like our friendship. Like, besides funny videos and liking to play video games, like...
Oh, yeah, nothing else.
I was about to say, like, what more
We're superficial friends, I'm telling you right now. All surface level, bro, no depth.
I don't know, like, did you and I ever get into, like, super deep discussions? Like, as kids. As adults, I know we've had a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, as kids, I don't think so.
It's never the soup du jour. But,
I think when I was dating your cousin, like, you were a bit deeper with me because you were being more protective. But other than that, like, not really.
Yeah, I don't think so.
We've always just been like, hey, dude, you want to come hang out? Yeah. And you'd sleep over, we'd watch funny YouTube videos, play Smash, and then you'd go home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And rinse and repeat every weekend.
And you know, that almost throws like a wrench in the spokes of my whole argument because I didn't even consider. You and I don't have like a lot of maybe similar interests. But we've been friends since like what 2006 or something like that.
Yeah, but having the same sense of humor goes a long way because you are one of the few. Yeah. You're one of my few friends where I see something funny and I kind of like look to the crowd. No one's laughing, but I see you in the background going, and I'm just like, yes, you're the only person I need to satisfy right now.
You know what? Yeah, that's true. Probably one of the bigger tenets of our friendship is humor.
Dude, I notice that all the time. Like, whenever we hang out with a group of friends and something funny happens, I already know you're laughing, so I don't need to look at you first. But I'll look at all of our friends. None of them are laughing. And I was like, I need someone to agree with me. So I look at you and I already see you like pointing at me, giving me the finger guns. Like, yeah. I love that.
Dude, yeah, that's right. Except for those sometimes where I'm just like, ha ha ha. That's the fake obligatory laugh,
Well, yeah.
But that's not awesome.
But like 9 out of 10 times, you and I are laughing at the same thing.
The same stupid
I just now, like 30 seconds ago, I showed you a YouTube video of Sanji with his face. I didn't even tell you what the funny part was. And the moment you saw it, you're like, what was that?
Go back, I gotta see that.
Yeah. Sense of humor goes a long way, dude.
You know what?
Long way.
That is 1,000% correct.
I'd say so.
Yeah. Humor's definitely a big one. And I know that's the case with, sorry, we don't use names here. But with other with other friends. Yeah. Okay, cool. I very much expected your answer to be substance.
Okay.
I was kind of thinking variety just because of your personality type. But, you're talking about people that you resonate with. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Impact Resonators class. Let's go.
Yo, Resonators, baby. Impact.
Cool. And I would think that most people probably do seek substance.
Well, what about you? Are you substance?
Substance.
Also? Okay.
Substance for sure. At the same time, what's nice about variety is that you get to kind of learn about other people through yourself. But ultimately it's substance. Like, if I'm gonna be good friends with someone, it's because we can connect, on a deeper level, without trying to sound deep or intellectual.
Oh, I know what you mean.
But like we all seek that. Like, I know that I personally I like being able to talk about things that go deep, right. Intellectual things, so to speak. I mean, you don't have to be smart to be my friend. I'm not smart. I just like to think I am.
I mean, I agree you're not smart, but
yeah, absolutely.
But like, I agree because I think there's times where I want variety. Like, there's times where
Yes.
my wife will be like, "Hey, we're going to a party," like, and it's like someone we've only met once. There's gonna be a lot of people I don't know there. So at the moment I hear about it, I'm like, "Oh, that does not sound fun, right?" Because none of my close friends are there. But then when I go, I'm like, you know what? I like this. I like meeting new people.
Yeah.
Like, I was just talking about this with one of our guys, and we're going to Japan together. Like, my wife and I, his
Nice.
wife and him, we're going to Japan, and him and I were just talking about how we want to like meet new people there because it's fun making new friends, and I
Yeah.
genuinely like making new friends. But like, long story short, if I'm ever gonna go on a road trip, like I'm bringing my close friend, not my variety friend. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And I
everyone
think
has their place.
yes, everyone has their place, and that's a good way to put it. Yeah, you know who your close friends are if you guys go on a car
Oh, dude, I've been in some car rides with. I
ride,
remember the first time we met this couple.
road trip.
We went in the car ride with them, and in my head, I'm like, I can talk to anyone. I can keep this conversation going for over an hour. And after 20 minutes, I'm like, I'm about to jump out of this car. Like,
Dude, those are the worst.
awkward
Oh,
moments is so awful because, like, if you and I are in a car ride and 20 minutes in the road, I'm just like, I want to go on YouTube, I'm okay with it. Because,
yeah,
like, I know you.
yeah,
And, like, you're fine being on your own. I'm fine being quiet. We can talk. When it's a new person, my brain says if we're not talking 24/7, we're basically hating each other. So, like, I need to keep a conversation going. And yeah, I hate those awkward moments.
yeah,
And that's a problem with variety. You get a lot of awkward moments.
yeah. It's true because you're not gonna connect like that with everybody, and nor should it be that way.
Yeah.
That's the joy of like searching for friends. There is a mutual friend that you and I have
Mm-hmm.
that he really does like silence sometimes. It's not awkward with him.
Oh, I think I know you're talking
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Great, great guy. Yeah, that's him.
about.
Great guy. But there are just some times when the conversation kind of falls dead and it's just is what it
Yeah, I was
is.
just with them, and it's
Yeah.
just super chill though.
Yeah.
Like, having that type of friend is good to know when it's like, I don't need to like expel myself so much to like please you. I can just be chill.
Yeah, cuz you just know.
That's
Yeah.
honestly good. It's honestly a good friend to have.
It definitely is, man. Definitely is.
Because the worst is the friends who like demand your every waking minute and like energy, and when they're around you, they always want to do something, and you're just like, I'd rather take it right now. Why can't you just shut up for
Yeah.
1 second?
It's yeah, I know what you mean. And it's I don't know, maybe it's just a thing with growing older, how you're just kind of more aware that, I kind of just need those moments.
Okay, I need to know, does your parents have friends? Because I know my parents have very few friends. And I feel like all grown-ups, like parents, grow up losing more and more friends.
I think so. Like
Why?
my mom's greatest friend is probably her sister.
Right. And like no one else. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, and my dad's greatest friend was, my uncle, my late uncle. So, yeah, it's funny. Oh
Are we gonna be
man.
like that? Like, am I gonna grow up and just like say no, like just like forget all my friends? Probably. If Impact makes it, I go to Montana. I probably will forget about
Oh
all
my
you.
god, Montana.
That's
Yeah,
where the greatest
you'll be
friends are.
friends with like the local cornfields or something.
There's no
like
corn
that.
there. I don't know where you guys get that from.
I saw it on a shirt one time
Yeah,
that
okay.
a certain dude has.
Yeah.
You know?
You shouldn't believe everything the internet tells you. Freaking idiots. The backrooms are real though. You should.
Well,
believe
you
that.
you just opened up a new dimension of the conversation. At what age does that start happening? Also, does
Mm.
being married at that age have more to do with it?
I don't know because I've seen like single adults. Like, when I say adults, I'm thinking above the age of 45, right?
Old people, yeah.
Old people. I've seen single old people have no friends, and I've also seen like married couples have no friends. And it's just so weird to me because I like through my whole life of my 8 years, I think I'm 28. My 28 years, I've always had friends, and I can't imagine not having a friend.
Hmm.
And I'm not including my wife. Like, she's always my friend. She's around me 24/7. I'm
Yeah.
talking about like outside my home. I've always been around people.
Yeah.
So if I can look into the future and I saw myself just alone with my wife, like, it's great to be my wife, but I need friends. Like, at least I want them. I don't know why I would get rid of them. I don't want parents to either.
And I wonder if it's not so if it's not so much. I sigh because this is this is another point that we're going to get to. But this is a very good segue, actually. If it's not so much that you just stop having friends, but the almost inevitable circumstance where you and some of your friends drift away.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see that happening.
No, it has happened.
Yeah.
It has happened. You, me, and...
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean now.
I mean, there were reasons later on, but at the time, it just... he got a job during the summer that's when we would primarily hang out, and then we didn't really see him anymore after that.
I mean, I can see friends drifting away. It's more so like I just can't see myself not making more friends. Do you know what I mean?
So you see yourself continuing to make the effort to maintain friendships.
like a fake example because it's never gonna happen. But if we ever did end up moving to Montana, which if it even was a reality, it wouldn't happen for another 10 years.
You already said it wasn't gonna happen,
but it could happen. But if we
another state, choose another state.
Why not Montana? It's the most gorgeous state in America.
Oh, that's debatable.
What's the gorgeous state?
Florida.
No, it's not. You're such an idiot. I hate you. But so I can see myself moving there. Let's just say I'm already 50 at the time. Wait, what did you just say?
Nothing.
So if I move there, I just can't imagine myself not making another friend. Because I mean, even my wife, when I first married her, she was definitely more introverted. Some people might call her an INTJ or a absolute BS kind of thing.
But is she a TBDL?
Oh, she's a TBDL, bro. Too big a listener. Right. So I remember when I first married her, and I was trying to make new friends. She was definitely more of the like, why can't we just stay home? Like, why can't we just go out? Right? She just wanted to be with us.
Right.
But as I slowly she what's the words I'm thinking of? She rubbed off on me. I rubbed off on her, kind of thing. I noticed that I was kind of more of, I kind of want to stay at home sometimes, but she wanted to make new friends. And now she has like 1,000 friends,
Right.
So I just can't imagine myself not making new friends. I don't ever see myself being like my parents or yours or even my in-laws, where they're only friends with their family. I think it's crazy. Like, I need friends, always.
Yeah, for sure. So then what's your theory about why we drift away? Sometimes friends just naturally... And I'll give you an example.
Oh, I have an answer, but it's a mean answer. Go ahead.
That's okay.
But give me your example first.
So, growing up, I had a really good friend. We'll just call him Jerry.
Okay.
So, me and Jerry were super tight.
Okay.
Like, slept over at each other's house all the time. This was pre-you, by the way.
Oh, that's long ago.
It was long ago, my guy. Long time ago. At some point, him and his family, they moved to Tennessee. So, obviously, that's a big move. You know?
Yeah.
But they moved, but he, his older sister stayed back and she lived in Davie or Hollywood or something like that. So, after a couple of years, he came back to visit. So we were excited. We texted each other like, "Oh yeah, let's meet up." And long story short, it just really wasn't the same after that.
Yeah.
Side note: you remember that god awful Grandma's Kisses video?
Yeah.
He's the one who showed me that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I can't imagine him watching that.
I was in his sister's kitchen when he showed me that. Oh God, it was hilarious.
Oh, Grandma's cookies. Nobody understands that reference. Just look up Grandma's Kisses on YouTube.
They won't find it.
It's gone?
It's gone.
No way.
I've looked at, dude, I even went to dailymotion.com. I went to vimeo.com and I looked for Grandma's Kisses.
Are you serious that YouTube poop isn't there anymore? I think it was a YouTube poop, right?
I don't think you can really call it a YouTube poop. It was just kind of like a dub, like a voice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gosh, that was so...
It was rancid, so funny. But anyway, he would come back to visit, and we'd hang out, and we'd do some of the stuff we used to do, to a certain extent, because at that point, it's not like we would go play manhunt with the neighborhood kids anymore.
Yep.
Being teens.
This is tying into my answer, so keep going.
Oh, this is perfect.
Okay, yeah.
But dude, it'd come, but then at some point I would stop hearing about when he'd come to visit, and then I would only hear after the fact, and I would message him, and I was like, "Yo, dude, let me know next time you come down." And they said, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I was only here for like X amount of days." So, you know, the reality of it is that we didn't quite see each other as those good friends anymore,
Mm-hmm.
or we didn't view each other's company as important anymore because we just kind of naturally drifted apart, drifted away. That also happens to folks that you live down the street from.
Right.
Just naturally it does. So, what do you think?
So I personally think that the more you grow up, the more selfish you become with your friends. So when I was
Interesting.
younger, anyone who gave me attention was, my in quotation marks friend, right?
Right.
Because I was like, you're giving me attention, you're awesome.
Right,
And so, but the more I grew up, I was like, I like playing basketball with you, but off the court, I don't want to be anywhere near you because like I
Yeah.
don't care about you.
Right.
And it's like earlier what I was saying, like I think as you grow up, you become more selfish in regards to, I only have so many X years to live. I want to be with the people I like, kind of.
Yeah.
So there's friends that you make, and as you grow up, you start noticing like his interests or her interests are different than yours,
Right,
and
right, right.
you're not malleable enough to go like, okay, I'll make those interests my interests kind of thing. You're just more like, I don't want to make those my interests. So
Mm.
we'll still be friends in quotation marks, but
Right.
not those deep, hey, I'm hanging out with you every weekend kind of people.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as I grow up, if you and I have different interests, like I'm still gonna show you the same respect and care, and if you invite me over, like I'll come over. But I'm not gonna give you that attention I would, a real friend. If
Yeah.
that makes any sense. Because those are the people I want to talk about. Like that story I told you about my board game. I don't just say the story to everyone I meet because I know that nobody cares about it except like a very secluded group.
Yeah.
And so when I'm with my close friends, I know that, hey, whenever you tell me, for instance, we have a friend who loves alcohol, whenever he tells me a new concoction, I'm like, what are you making it with? How does it make you feel? What made you come up with this idea, right? Like I'm super interested. So those are the people I want to tell my stories to because I want you to be involved in my story in that regard.
Yeah.
But other friends, I just don't talk about that because one, I don't think they'll care about it, and two, I don't care to tell them.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, it makes perfect sense.
So I
It's
think
like, yeah, you're not gonna just go and tell everybody, just anyone certain things about you or that you do and that you like.
yeah,
You have to
and
kind of earn that.
and two, I think as you grow up, I think everyone becomes more and more stubborn to where adult you can be so stubborn that genuinely no one really likes. And I think a lot
Yeah.
of parents fall under this category where they're so stubborn in their ways that when there is a so-called friend you could make, it's just you're too stubborn to actually be a friend because you're like, I'm happy where I'm at. If that makes any sense. I
Maybe
feel like
not
that's my mean take
stubborn,
on
but
it.
maybe complacent.
That's another word for it. I could use that.
Yeah. So it's funny. This brings up something that I've discussed many a time with my friends. I little bit of context here.
Uh-huh.
I've never gone to a barber. Okay.
Oh, really?
I go to a hairdresser.
I mean, I don't blame you.
You
I've
know,
only ever been
it's
to
the
a
same thing, but a
I've only been to a
hairdresser.
barber once, and that was because he was doing it for free because I was cleaning his window. So
Oh.
we did a trade off, but it was really cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, okay, cool. I mean, they both do the same thing, but anyway.
Don't say that. We're gonna like nobody's. A barber's different, okay? Give them the respect they deserve.
Yeah, fine. Okay, a hairdresser isn't gonna give somebody a tape or a fade.
Yeah.
That's true.
Spray the
That's
alcohol
true.
on you, make it burn, use a razor blade. It's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, dude. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Hashtag barbers.
Hashtag barbers. So I had a hairstylist who, I'd gone to see her for many years. And, getting into my, she'd seen me since I was a kid. So she'd been with me as I went through teenage years and through early adulthood into my early 20s. But I remember, and you always talk tea with your hairstylist.
I don't understand that. I'm sorry. I was dead silent with my barber / hairdresser.
Was it a boy or a girl?
My hairdressers were either boy or girls. My barber was a dude. But even then, like he knew I cleaned windows. I knew that he did hair. So he'd be like, "Your windows look good today. You want a haircut?" I'm like, "Yeah." He cut my hair and he's like, "You look good." I'm like, "Thanks, dude." I give him $20 and I walk away. Like I never talked to my hairdressers.
What about as a
so
kid?
go ahead. Nope, still didn't.
Still didn't.
I think
okay.
my mom talked to them more than I did.
Oh, well then there you go.
But go ahead,
Okay.
spill the tea with them. Yeah.
Yeah. So she would always ask, like, Or are there any girls? Any girls you're interested in? So I would keep her updated, you know.
Yeah.
But there was one time where, she told me you don't want to wait to get married too late.
Okay.
And I said, well, why do you say that? And she says, because as you get older, you get more set in your ways. So if you become more set in your ways, you're less likely to find somebody that you're compatible with.
Makes sense. Agreed. 100% agreed.
I definitely agree. As we get older, we do become more set in our ways.
Mm-hmm.
And from a young age, you can probably even attest to this.
Hmm.
I have always been, I'm going to use the word picky.
Yes.
Picky.
Yes.
I am confident and I know of what I want. And I've always been a certain other dude who I grew up with, he always told me, you're so darn picky. You're so darn picky and you're so stubborn.
Agreed.
He still uses the word hard-headed. I'm very particular, 1,000%. I know what I'm going to like, and I even know more of what I am not going to like, still to this day.
Oh, I know. You hate Marvel. I get it.
Marvel blows bubbles. Guardians 3 was the worst.
Best movie.
It was, and I'm just trying to get a rise out of you.
I know. Go ahead.
But Big Hero 6 sucked.
You're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. I don't even know why I'm your friend. This makes no sense, dude.
We'll have to make an episode of it one day. But anyway, so I agree with the fact that as we become older, yeah, we do become more set in our ways. I looked at that as kind of a philosophical thing, and I would ask my other friends who were young and single like me. But my whole thing is, I still think, yeah, sure, to a certain extent, but that doesn't mean go get married at a young age just because you're malleable.
Man.
It's like, I would really rather know that, like, I know who I am, so I'm not like a square peg going into like a triangle hole. I'm not trying to force it. It's like, no, this is who I am, this is what I like, this is how I think. So, with that being the case, with friend making now, whether you're older in life and whether you're married or not, do you think that the fact that our personalities are more set, they're more concrete, and not as malleable as they used to be, and I think as we get older, to a certain extent, we don't like to take the same risks that we used to when we were younger. Does that play a part in our approach to making friends and keeping friends?
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. 100%. It was so funny. My wife and I were literally just talking about that because there's, we not only do we have friends that are older than us, same age, but also younger than us. A lot of them just being our nieces and nephews. And all kids going through the age of 17 through 21 are going through I think boys are pretty kind of stage. And so they're all wanting to date, meeting ones, and it's so cringe to watch these young ones date because I know I was there, and I'm just like, gosh, was I this cringe? I'm terrible. Like
the answer is yes.
I want to call everyone who's ever chaperoned me and just apologize for how awful that is, because like I'm literally just witnessing this, and I'm like, this is disgusting. Why am I? But like, so my wife and I are on our way home, and we kept talking about how like positives and negatives of dating young is just what we said. If you get married young, you both are more malleable to like resonate with each other. Whereas if you wait too long, like even your hairdresser was saying, you become stubborn in your ways, like set in your ways. And so it's a give and take, because at least when you said if you're set in your ways, you know who you are. Like you figure that out, you know what you want. Whereas a young person, you don't know what you want. And for anyone listening, if you're young and you think you're ready to date, you're not. Don't think you know who you are. You're not. You don't know. But if you do end up getting young, you still will you will get to know who you are, but it will be, it will be both you and your partner, because they're definitely going to, influence you, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So I think it does set a definite precedence, especially later on.
For sure, man. And obviously with age, dating and seeking a marriage mate, there's really more, there's way more positives in that.
Mhm.
You know, just even for the practical point, you know, that you have had a job or you've been making money for a certain amount of time and so on and so
Oh
forth.
yeah, not even talking about money. That's a big thing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I thought. You know, more or less just changing with age. Okay, so then here's another one. That's so great. We like segued into one of my bullet points
Oh yeah,
naturally.
yeah.
Yeah, like when we were talking about age, I was just like, oh shoot, we were gonna talk about it.
Tell me.
Okay, so the friends that we do have, the
Okay.
friends that I mean, I'm not talking about you and I, but I mean now just in a general sense.
Mm-mm-mm.
So when you have your friends, the ones that you're deep with, you know, and so forth, so on and so forth, are there limits? Do we have certain limits with what we do or say, or do we just kind of feel like, I'm good to just say whatever because they're my friend, they get me, they'll understand it. Limits. You and I talked about humor. We push
Like
lines.
I
I
feel like
push
I feel like
lines.
anything I say is just gonna be mean or not. Actually, it's not mean. It's just more so like I think people know who I'm talking to. But so I think with our group of friends now, I can say anything I want and not offend. You know, and
Right,
like,
because
but
you're
I think
understood in this.
exactly. But I think that's like a 80%, hit rate. You could say like there's a 20% chance that I could really offend someone, but it's a way better bet to make. Like I'm not gonna offend. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I do like our group of friends now because I think I can say anything. But there are a few things being married. For instance, like I'm not gonna get super close with like any wives or anyone of the opposite sex, right? So that's like a big give and take. Where
Right.
you as a single person is different. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but you with married friends, you also do have this unwritten rule. that-
Exactly.
yeah.
So that, and then two, because I feel like I know my friends so well, there's things I just can't tell them because I think they can't bear it. So that's when I hold myself back. Because there's times
Limits.
where like I want to say something, but it's like, all right, here's my two options. I say something and really, one, have a chance to ruin our friendship, or two, just suck it up and keep going. And
Yeah.
like let him or her do something that bugs the crap out of me and just let it go.
Mm.
And like usually the stuff that's like bugging me is something that doesn't change my life. You know what I mean? For like a good instance is we have a friend. Oh, I can't think of an example. I'll give a better example. I can't think of a good example yet.
Even
But
if you remembered their name, we're not
yeah,
supposed.
whatever. Let's just say, for instance, we had a vegetarian friend, which we don't. But let's just say we did. Like, of course, every time. Oh, you're. Oh, sorry. I'm changing it now. I have a friend. I think he's your friend too. I have a friend who doesn't drink. Like, he's against alcohol, but he doesn't like preach it to you. Like, don't drink.
Sure.
He just doesn't drink. And every time I'm with him, I always act like I forget he doesn't drink, right? Because I'm always like, oh, hey, did you want me to make you a drink? Like, nicely. And he's always just like, no, no, I'm good. But the reason I do that is, in just for me, it bugs me he's not drinking because I think you're gonna have a great time if you drink with me. But at the same time, it's never gonna change my life whether you drink or not. So it's not gonna bug them.
Sure.
So in
Okay.
that context, I don't go on the side of let me preach this man while drinking isn't bad. Okay? Whereas in
Gotcha.
my head, I'm like, I'm just gonna let him not drink because he makes his decisions and whether he drinks or not will not change his evening. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So that's a good example to say. So those are the types of friends I think we have where I could say anything I want, but I hold back things that I'm just like, there could be something I could say, but it's like, honestly, it's not bugging me that much. Why would I say?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. You know, when I was younger, I really thought that, you know, if you have you can turn the fan off if you
No,
want.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. That if you are good friends with somebody, you can say whatever you want to them because you guys are that good of friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, you realize that's not really the case.
I agree.
Yeah, that's really not the
Agreed.
case. Because we are as people, all of us we're very dynamic. You know,
Yep.
we're built in very very different ways. So that's why we have certain limits and perhaps that's also why maybe we seek certain not personality types but like other people that like do they exhibit maybe the same uh limits that I do, or do they also have? What's a better way to put this? Like, for instance, you and I and our friend group, we can dance on the wire when it comes to making jokes.
Oh yeah.
Like,
100%.
we're not vulgar.
Yep.
We're not like, we're not that way, but we're gonna make jokes that really traipse the line.
Oh yeah.
But it's such a thing with our group of friends that it's hilarious, because we all know we can be like that around
Yep.
one
Yep.
another.
Yep. Yep.
So you're gonna kind of get the sense of people that maybe they're on that acquaintance level of friendship that oh, maybe they wouldn't like that.
Oh yeah.
So maybe I'm not gonna make that joke. Or if I'm hanging out with that crowd of people, maybe I won't jump to like invite them to come along because maybe they'll find themselves offended.
Agreed.
That that's yeah.
Because you know what sucks is when you are wanting to invite a new friend to the group, right? And so you have a gathering or party and you invite all your friends. And so then you invite all your friends over and then you're like, you know what? This one guy I met seems really cool. I invite him over. But the moment you bring him over, you can tell not only you, but all your close friends are tense because they go, can I say this joke that I really want to say? Because we don't understand like how this gentleman or, woman works. We don't know if he or she's going to really take this joke either personally or just understand we're joking.
Yeah.
I think it's the hardest part making new friends in your friend group. Because you guys are, like you said, you're so set in your way.
Yeah.
You know what works, you know what doesn't work. But yeah, I think that's the hardest part about having new friends. It's like one-on-one I'm okay with because I can like learn how you work. I can see what buttons to push, what not to push.
Yeah.
But in a group setting, I don't know how to read.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what's interesting, and that's when variety, like we spoke about earlier, kicks in. Because some days you can have like, hey, we're gonna do a thing at our house. We're gonna invite, the usual suspects, but then also have more. But that's not the norm every single week, because that's not that close circle. And it's maybe not so much of, oh, I don't want that person there, but it's just like, well, we all kind of hang out a certain way.
Right.
So that, and hey, others can look out at us individually and maybe be thinking that as well. But
I know people think I'm weird. 100%.
Well, I'm like your closest friend, and you are sure as heck. That's why we vibe so well.
I think so.
But so that's easy because we're talking. Also, I've got something in my eye. That's why I'm winking at you.
It's fine.
Yeah,
I just thought you were just like really, making a move on me.
Oh, of course. No, not
because it's working.
Shave that mustache.
Wait, you guys start drawing pictures of me with a mustache now? Well, I have it.
I'm normally a fan of the mustache. This time around, I'm just like,
You don't like my mustache right now?
No, I'm just too used to your face without it. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm like really liking it now for some reason.
Really?
As you could hear from the microphone at me rubbing it. I think it's just jealous you can't grow one.
I don't know, man. Well, yes, 100%. Well, look, like, I'll say this too. Like, another one of our dudes shaved off his mustache, and I think he looks a lot better without it.
Oh my god, so much better. I can't tell him straight to his face, but god, he was so ugly before. I hope he listens to this episode.
Let's just call him Danny. Danny. Your mustache. Your face looks a lot better without it.
It looks better. I mean, I think like I kind of want to grow it out again.
He looks more legal now, doesn't he?
See, these are the type of jokes we can't make with our friends.
Exactly.
Dude, I have a story actually. So we got invited. My wife and I got invited to a friend's house. It's not one. They're your friends, but they're not in our friend group. And their whole family was there, and they invited another couple in our friend group there, right? So it's me, my wife, this other couple who we're really close with, and then like a family of 5 who were just, semi-close, right?
Yeah.
We're not in that level of like, you get me, I get you kind of thing.
Sure.
So, but like I started talking with the couple, and I'm just getting so comfortable, and I say this Nazi joke. And literally, you see the couple chuckle, but everyone else is just dead silent, jaw dropped, eyes wide. And I it's in the millisecond I go, I've made a mistake. I've made a grave mistake. And it's so funny because the other couple, they chuckled. They're like, and like they could tell, like, we shouldn't laugh at this. we should make this other individual feel very awkward for making this joke.
Yeah.
It was so terrible.
Oh my god. When the mic's off, I want to hear this story.
It's not even that funny of a joke. I just said like.
No, but I want to
like,
know who you're talking about.
Oh yeah. I will tell you that. if they ever listen, they're gonna go, "Oh, yeah, that was too far."
Oh man. Yeah. But even within our friend group, like going back to what I was saying, you learn that you do have to exhibit certain limits. I've had close conversations with very good friends of mine, maybe about some issues that I just was like, you know what? I'm going to just tell you what my real thoughts are on the matter.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully it was a good conversation, but he let me know that he felt hurt by what my thought was, what my opinion was.
Oh.
And it's like we have been on a very deep level for a long time, but I didn't realize that me just sharing a personal opinion, and it wasn't even like I
Do
disagree
I know this
with.
person?
Of course you do.
What? I
Like-
need to know who this is. Are you guys still close?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
It didn't like ruin the friendship.
No, not at all, not at all. And I would even dare say it was at the end of the conversation, and I was, I guess, kind of wrong because the way I expressed my opinion was like not the most tactful. Like I legit said, I think that ABCXYD is stupid. Yeah. So I could have probably worded it a lot better. But at the end of the conversation, and something that I really appreciate about that particular friend that I've got, is we talked and we went deep psychologically about what his reason was for thinking a certain thing and what my reason was for thinking, his thing was stupid that way. And it was neat because I didn't really uncover it myself. I was just concerned with how, like, wow, I think this is really dumb.
Right.
I just think this is really dumb. But in the end of the conversation just naturally taking place, it was because of a certain value that I held, or something that I realized meant a lot to me. And that's why I met his idea with such resistance. But I didn't think of it that way at first. But at the end of it, no, it didn't damage the relationship. I think it just made things a bit stronger.
That's good.
So, and I know, there are, when you learn more about a friend and you know what your limits are with them, you try to show them that respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
Because
I get you.
yeah, because the thing is, when it comes to friendship, it's always a two-way thing.
Yep.
If you share something with me that bothers you, and maybe it doesn't bother me, or maybe like I in this other circumstance think it's stupid, but because you brought it up to me, it's like I almost said your name.
I mean, more honestly.
So we just cut it out in post. But like, if you said it, I'm keeping that in mind. Like, I think a certain way about this, but so and so doesn't like that. So, and I know I've learned with certain jokes, and I'm not, referring to a specific instance, but I've learned that, like, okay, you know what? If they really don't like it, I gotta stop. Like,
it's so hard.
It really is.
It's so hard.
Mom jokes haven't gotten me in trouble just once, by the way. I was with another friend. But see, here's the thing. So, oh God. Oh man.
What?
I used to really rail on him. Like when mom jokes became a thing with me in 2018. And this is that long ago. But like I would just make these jokes, not they were rancid jokes about this guy's mom. So the thing is, I know that it bothered him, because I could gauge it. Are you
serious?
Oh yeah, I could gauge it by his reaction. Is like if you make a joke, something like, "Mom,
and you kept doing it.
But I would keep it up. Yeah, because I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know how much it really bothered him. the interesting thing about that situation and like emotional acuity and social awareness, at some point, bro, it just clicked in my head like he really doesn't like those jokes. After I spent so much time, one joke after next, he never sat me down and said like, "Yo, dude, listen, I'm not a fan of those mom jokes. Like,
right.
we can joke around stuff and this and that, but I'd appreciate it if you stopped." He never did. But at some point, I just realized like, oh, he really doesn't like me. Yeah, so it was like a thing for me. Like, I'm just gonna stop. I'm not gonna burn this guy's mom, you know. And thankfully, he wasn't a little wussy about it. I had a coworker who was a real wussy about stuff. Oh man, when I used to work at the music warehouse, the record warehouse, there was this one guy there who, man, he loved to joke and he would dish it, he'd take it, but when it came to burning moms, he wasn't into it. But it was such a thing at that warehouse to just burn people's moms. Our bosses were in on it.
Ooh.
Yeah, dude, like there was one time this song came on the radio or the Pandora or whatever, and it was that song Easy Like Sunday Morning.
Yep.
Well,
Easy
one of the
like
guys
Sunday morning.
so one of the guys I was working next to just like lowers the volume. He's like, "Guys," and he makes eye contact with Johnny. That's his name. I'm gonna use his name. There's no way. So he's like, he makes eye contact with Johnny, lowers the volume. He's like, "Guys, I dedicate this song to Johnny's mom." Easy like Sunday morning. But this other guy, he did not like it. He didn't like it even when we made mom jokes.
Oh, come on,
other people's mom.
Dude.
I know. See,
wear a helmet. Come on.
Yeah. Like he was completely overboard. Like just like it was, dude. It was even to the point. Oh my god, it was so funny. Like there was this other stupid thing about like I'm just trying to think of a way to like reword this. Well, anyway, so
just
it was
word
just
it the way you want to, and then we'll just go anytime you say something.
Okay. So there was this stupid thing at one time. One of these guys came up to me like, "Yo, dude, like, why is your butt green? Why are your butt cheeks green?" I'm like, What are you talking about? What are you talking?" And I still to this day never understood the joke.
I don't get it.
But it was just one of those things where you just to come up to someone. It was probably just to get it for shock value or whatever. But then this one guy, we'll just call him Patrick.
Okay.
Goes up to this other guy who is, for context, probably one of the most interesting people I've met.
What?
He was Jamaican
Is that me?
Chinese. Oh no, because this guy's quiet. He's Jamaican and Chinese. And he was quiet for the most part, but whenever he opened his mouth, it would always be some out of pocket thing. But anyway, so Patrick goes up to him and he says, "Yo, Josh, why your butt cheeks green, man?" And he says, "I don't know, why don't you ask your mom and your grandma?" Dude, his face, smile, gone. Turns around, walks away. We're all just like, "Whoa!" Our boss, like 5 minutes later, comes walking. He's like, "Hey, did somebody burn Patrick's mom?" I see him sulking in the corner of the warehouse. It gets better. There was one time that he went up to both of our bosses,
I'm getting mad,
in their office. And he was like, "Guys, I really don't like the work environment. All these mom jokes are so hurtful and this and that and blah, blah." Like, making a complaint.
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to know how that meeting ended?
Please tell me.
He got laughed out of that office. Both of the bosses just... It was great. So, but in his case, that was too sensitive. I'm not going to stop making a certain joke to others or about others. Like, if it's vulgar, if it's out of pocket, like, obviously mom jokes can get that way. But I mean, even if it was just calling us, like making a fat joke or this, for God's sake, one of our coworkers, his mom died. And a week later, his closest friend is making mom jokes to this guy.
Ouch!
Like, yeah.
Ouch!
Like, I was just like, what the heck is wrong with you? But yeah. So there is a thing about taking it a little too far in terms of how sensitive you are about that. but it's like a thing of respect,
Yeah.
So it just kind of doubles back to the whole like, where do we place our limits
Right.
with our friends? Do we feel licensed to just do or say whatever we want without any
No,
regard?
I don't think I can say anything I want. I mean, I gotta show some respect to some people. I mean, you're a prime example because you like being called a certain name.
Right.
And
right.
so, like, let's go with Patrick. And let's say you want people to call you Patrick, but people call you Rick. And it's like, I know
My
for
name's not Rick.
So it's like, I remember when you were starting to say, like, hey, you should call me Patrick. And I was like, okay, Rick. Like, I remember looking at you, like, eyes rolling like a slot machine. And anyone you ever introduced, you would be like, hey, how you doing? Oh, what's your name, Bob? Oh, I'm Patrick. I would be right behind him going, his name's Rick. Call him Rick.
Oh, God.
And I remember, dude, this
God,
went on for like a year. And to the point where you were like, dude, you should really call me Patrick. And I was like, all right, I'll work on it. And I know I still call you by your nickname because I've called you that since I was like, what, before I was born probably. But it's just, yeah, like, so I learned that like those type of jokes I don't make anymore.
Sure, man.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
I don't want this to
Wait,
get
did I
between us.
ever actually
Talk to me? Oh yeah.
No,
twice.
I've spoken to you, but did I ever really petition you to call me that?
Twice. No, you never told me to call you that. No, you
Oh.
never have.
Around
You never
other
have.
people, I'm for sure.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. You've never asked me
okay,
to genuinely call you that.
Yeah, because like the folks that I grew up with, like I know that it's not a reason. Like, dude, even in South Florida, like when I decided to start, like it wasn't something that I would go up to people and tell them like, don't call me, Patty anymore. I want to be Patrick, But new friends that I made, that's when I would approach them with that. But like I never thought I'm not gonna go back and tell people like don't call me another name that you've only called me this forever. This is only something that like you know within the last couple years, and when I say the last couple years, it's like last 8 years or so because it was actually college when I really started going forward.
See, it's crazy because I feel like I just learned about this maybe 2 years, like COVID.
That's because it became an issue 2 years ago. Before it was a preference. Yeah. So there's just a lot that goes into it, and it's also one of those things that I'm also trying to just not take myself too seriously on. Like I said, I didn't want to go up to my old friends.
Yeah.
And tell them like, yo, it's
Hey,
Patricio now.
It's Patricio. I mean, like, I'm telling you as a friend, I know you don't think it is. I still think your nickname is so good, dude. I think it's so good. I don't know why you want to change it. Like, I'm just giving you my, like, I'm just venting to you right now as a friend.
Well, that's cool.
I genuinely love your nickname. It's like, it's unique. I don't know anyone else with this name. I can't not say it and not smile because it brings me joy when I say your name.
Yeah, I got you.
It's just like I get why, but at the same time I don't get why. And so like I think this transitions to the DQ time. Like, what's a better name? I think it's a literal 20 out of 10 name. It's a mobster name. It rolls off the tongue so well. It's so good, It's just like that's my friend, that dude. But yeah.
Yeah.
I love your nickname, and I love your real name too. But your nickname is 20 out of 10. Your real name is like 8 out of 10.
I'll be my favorite number, so that works. It's funny, dude. Like, it's funny you bring this up. It really wasn't my intention behind this topic or theme, but it's funny. I was actually gonna like tell you after the episode. I might as well put it on the air right now.
Call me out. You're a douche.
Not at all.
For not calling me.
No, you are a douche, but for different reasons.
Oh yeah, understood there.
Dude, TBD could be two big douches.
That's like the midnight episode, what I'm saying?
No, but genuinely, like, I know your true thoughts and feelings about like me not wanting to go with my old childhood nickname. You've told it to me before, but the fact that you still make an effort every now and then. Like, we're hanging out, I don't care. I really don't. But it's like, when we're around other people, when we're around others, I see that you make the effort. And I genuinely thank you for it, because I know it's really not something that you really prefer, but the fact is, like, that makes me feel really good that, like, you know what? He doesn't agree, but he values me enough to try.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
I mean, like, and only in my defense is that it's, in all honesty, like, I genuinely don't really care because it's like I want to respect you. So to me, it's one of those things where it's like, really, by calling him his real name, is it really going to change our friendship? No. But it's more so since I'm so used to your nickname, I just say it. And then there's times where I'm like, oh. And then, because there's times where I'll be like, hey, yo, Patrick, hey. Like, I'll literally fix myself right then and there. And I was like, that's what he wants to hear. But if it's just you and me, there's no way I'm saying, I have to say your nickname. It's
And
like,
that's totally understandable.
it's like a drug to me. It's like, oh,
it's the name that you've associated with our friendship, with who I am in your mind.
Yeah.
And that is a similar issue that I had with someone else in their situation. But, like, it was something that, funny enough, in that conversation, that I learned about myself, that I value people's names. Like, if I use your name in a conversation, it's and this, I don't know if other people feel this way. But when I use your name in a conversation, that's a special thing. To me, it is. It just always has been. Like, when I've dated girls in the past, and, like, I once had a friend ask me, did you ever come up with, like, pet names or nicknames? And no, I really didn't, because I wanted to use their names. Because to me, it was such a personal thing for me to use their name. And in a even in a regular friendship too, if I use your name in a conversation, to me, it's an expression of my, like, affection to you as a friend. Even if it's just as simple as just like, oh yeah, yo, Danny, the other day, and this and that. Because I've had multiple conversations with very good friends of mine where we don't use each other's names once. But names, to me, mean a lot. So because I have that understanding, realistically, I realize that those who've grown up calling me by my childhood nickname must feel the same way. Which is why from the beginning, I never thought, let me not ask them. Because there's obvious memories, and an identity tied to my nickname. But, so that's when I am trying to, like, kind of get out of my own head a little bit, where it's like, really, don't take yourself that seriously. I will be very honest with you. It does bug me because that name catches like wildfire.
Oh yeah.
In nursing school, it happened.
A
certain friend said it once, and everyone, all of a sudden, I'm just like, it was just like, okay, this drives me nuts. With coworkers and classmates at the time, obviously with our friends and those whom we're close with, we have a certain understanding about our, first of all, like, our beliefs and everything. I think you know where I'm getting at.
Yeah.
But when it came to, especially at that time, coworkers and everything like that, it was like, you didn't grow up with me like that. Like, that's not where it come from. Because at some point, I wanted to separate the child Rick from Patrick, because I just thought, like, this is just how I've grown. Like, I've just kind of,
like, Little
evolved.
Dickie's a good name. I don't know why you don't like it.
Did you say Little Dickie?
Yeah. I mean, of course, it catches like wildfire.
I wanted to make a follow-up joke and I can't.
Well, the episode's getting to the point where my wife won't listen anymore, so I have to, like...
Is she even listening?
No, she really does. But the moment it passes like an hour, she's like, you should make it shorter.
Oh.
And I was like, I can't remember.
I watch One Piece when I work. Girly, you can do a podcast while you work.
But the DQ, before we go way off topic, it might be too deep. Like, and deep is not the right word. But so we're talking about friends, right?
Okay.
So I view friends personally, and I think even my parents know this. I view friends closer than family. That's my side. Sure. I think you think opposite. I think families, like, if there was a level of importance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to see what our listeners are. So, I mean, this is a pretty, like, bad Inquisition Mark question. But you're on a cliff, and your mother and your best friend are hanging off. Who do you save?
Oh my gosh.
Who do you save? I want to hear your answer.
I let them both fall.
No,
Why are
you
they on a
gotta pick one.
cliff?
Oh, screw that. No, you have to pick one. You have to pick one. Because dude, I'll ask straight up, and I think Mom already knows it. I think I'm choosing my best friend. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you.
That's too black and white.
No. Well, you guess what?
Like,
Yeah,
I thought you were going to
totally
hit me with a DQ question like, who's closer, family or friends?
I mean, that's a boring question. This is a question.
It's an intellectual question.
Oh, forget it. No, this is a question that we're really going to get into the hot topic. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
The real emo thoughts.
Okay.
What do you save?
Split second decision, I save my mom.
Really?
Yeah. I've also got a lot of best friends, so, that's a lot of hands to grab onto.
Well, I guess, okay, think of, at this moment, okay, I'm gonna give you 2 seconds.
I
think
do
of your
this.
closest friend right now. Think of your closest friend. You got one in your head?
Yeah.
Think of your closest one. He's the one hanging, or she is hanging on the cliff. Who do you save?
You should ask me this when I'm married.
No. No. Okay, in general, I'm saving my wife over my mom, but I'm thinking of, my friends not counting my wife, because that's a cop-out, kind of.
Okay.
Who do you save now? Mom or that friend you just now thought about?
Yeah, I'm saving my mother, man.
Wow.
The thing is,
so old. It's not even worth it.
The thing is, though, as a son, you will have only 2 very important female relationships in your life.
Yeah.
One with your mother, and of course your wife. She gave birth to me and gave everything to me. Yeah, I'm gonna reach for my mom and do this to the other.
In all honesty, dude, I'm genuinely curious to see what they answer.
What?
What people say.
Oh, in the comments.
Yeah, friends or mom.
Okay.
And if you don't have a mom, dad. All right. So friends are dad or friends are mom.
Yeah, and if you're an orphan, then just stop listening.
Yeah, go watch Fosters. You know what I'm saying?
So you brought up an interesting point. I know we're getting close to the hour and a half mark. Is blood thicker than water? Can family be closer than friends, or can friends be closer than family? The answer is yes. Friends can be closer than family. 100%. Yes, 100%.
I've always felt closer with friends and family.
Yeah, no, I can understand that.
Because it's so funny, because you are, in my opinion, all right, you can prove me wrong.
I'm a family guy.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
No, because my wife is too. She is totally a
family guy.
A family gal. You know what I'm saying? You're that gal. You're that gal.
I hate that, by the way.
Oh, I hate it too, but I do it anyway because he's my friend. Yep.
Yeah, of
But
course. He's definitely falling off the cliff, but go ahead.
I mean, if it's him or my mom, I'm choosing my mom. I'm just saying, if you're listening, you're that guy.
I'd choose your mom too.
But
go ahead.
I've had one sibling, and I am not close with this sibling. Lately in life, I've gotten closer with her.
Right.
But before, no way. We were mortal enemies, and I was not like you, where I knew my cousins, we were not close.
Right.
We saw them for we went to Ohio, we saw them, or if they were visiting, we hung out. But in no way, shape, or form did they ever see me more than once a year, or did I ever even text them or call them,
Okay.
My friends were my family all the time. Even my mom and dad knew it. My mom would always be like, who are you hanging out with today? Do they want to sleep over? Do they want to come over? Because my mom understood, my son has friends, and I love my family. But, my mom always knew, my friends were, my, what's the word? It was just, my happy place kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Where I know, you and my wife, your family is totally your happy place. I think my wife has, turned more to the friends are a little bit closer than family. But there's just a difference. If I tell my wife, hey, such and such is coming over, she gets happy. But then if I said, hey, your sister's coming over, she gets extremely. And she gets that calm feeling of I'm with family. That's her happy.
Interesting.
But for me, yeah, friends are thicker than blood.
And another very, very good friend of mine is the same way. He has what he calls his chosen family. Yeah. Yeah. And but that's the same thing. Your friends are going to be closer. And it makes perfect sense. Obviously, when you have the most important thing in common, but then you're going to have other experiences that you go through, So, yeah, you can have, dude, some of my closest friends, they're not related to me, but they are some of my closest friends. To me, if I call a family member a friend, that's as significant as me having a friend,
Okay.
It's
Oh,
the
yeah.
same thing, you know, because there is a danger in thinking that blood is thicker than water, because then actions
Agreed.
done by your family
Agreed.
are just inexcusable under the umbrella
Yep.
of but it also goes both ways.
Oh, it's
you know?
totally true.
Yeah. So that's just the balance of life. Yeah. But no, that's an interesting.
I swear, if that squeaking on that chair comes with the main feed,
Oh God,
I'm
I
like
bet
gonna
you it
delete this whole
has.
episode. Squeak, 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 squeak.
Hopefully my voice was loud enough to drown it out. Yeah.
Yeah, any plugs you want to make?
Any plugs? No plugs. Yeah, what about you?
My plug is for if Tyler Bell is listening, bro, this episode goes out to you, my number one Impact fan. You were honestly the highlight of my whole month. I hope you listen to this episode, and I hope we can see each other again and play some Impact. That was my plug. Tyler Bell. He does commercials. That's all I know.
Commercial.
He does like commercials for other people, and he does like Photoshop things. So maybe you know, and maybe he'll work on the game. You never know.
Maybe.
Kind of hype. Kind of hype.
Very nice. Well, dude, after 3 weeks, we have episode number 5.
I already know there's gonna be one listener to be like, it's actually been 4 weeks and 3 days.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, so this is to quell all those rumors. Okay, this podcast is not over. It's not dead. Life gets busy sometimes. We have a goal of doing it once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Life may happen where it's maybe every couple weeks. Maybe it's maybe once a month or something like that.
Yeah.
We're still aiming for, a bi-weekly thing. So
yeah, let us know what you think of the shorts too if you want to see more of that. Because honestly, dude, that's such an amazing piece of art you've made. Is that short? It's so good.
I'll tell you, that's one thing the listeners can't complain on, because those weeks that we didn't put in an episode were spent putting that cartoon together.
You spent a lot of time on that.
It was 3 weeks, dude.
That's
2.5 to 3 weeks.
That's nuts. How long that took?
Yeah, for 45
seconds. You need to
seconds.
make another one. It's so good. I watch it almost every other day. I think it's that good.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
Super
that.
good. Yeah. I did not do any of that, by the way, except record my voice. So, all credit goes to this other dude, Patrick, over here.
It's a joint effort. Without the source material, what would it have been?
Yeah.
So, who knows, man.
All right, man. You've listened to another episode of
Two Big Dudes! Your mom's favorite podcast.